Hi everybody, it's Mr. Clark here again. So today we're going to learn a couple shortcuts. That's our special cases. So if we can recognize a pattern, then we don't actually have to do a full multiplication. So here we're going to be looking at multiplying two binomials together, but they have a very special pattern of a plus b times a minus b. So let's look at an example with some numbers. So I made one up here. So if I was going to try to match the pattern, the x is the a over here. You can see it's in the front two spots, and then the 5 would be the b. Okay. So if I'm going to multiply those together, what makes this thing a shortcut is that the middle terms always cancel out. That's because there's a plus and there's a minus. So let's try that. So I taught you how to multiply binomials by distributing. If you have another way, if you want to FOIL it, that's fine. But if I multiply this out and then distribute here the way I taught you, this is the double distributing, and then here's the single. Notice I have a -5 and a +5. That's a 0. So that always happens when I have this pattern here of a plus b times a minus b. Those always cancel. And so when we collect like terms, that's a 0. We just get x squared minus 25. Well, you can kind of do that in your head. Okay, so the shortcut is not to multiply them, but to use the fact that a plus b times a minus b is a squared minus b squared. So I could have just looked here and said, oh, this is a plus b times a minus b, so I don't have to FOIL that out. I just got to square the first term, which is x. And I got to square the last term, was 5. 5 times 5 is 25, and make sure that it's a minus here, because a plus times a minus is a negative. All right, so what we're learning especially today is a special case. We have a pattern here, special pattern of binomials. It's really like a difference of, the answer is a difference of squares. And so it's a plus b times a minus b. And so the key here is that I don't have to actually multiply all these out. I can use this little formula here, the shortcut, and get the answer really quick. All right, well, let's go try some examples here. So you try these right now. I know some of these are big numbers, but see, you should be able to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So see if you can just quickly square that out. I'll do the first one for you. So I'm looking at it, I'm going, So it's going to be x squared. I just got to square the 2 here. 2 times 2 is 4. So that should be x squared minus 4. Why don't you try the next one? The next few here. We'll go through this pretty quickly, and then I'll just give you your homework. It's a short lesson today. It's very important patterns, because when we factor, we'll start with the x squared minus 4. I break it into these two parts. All right, so the next one's going to be what? Well, everything's going to start with an x squared on these examples. So I have 3 times 3 is a 9. All right, so you just got to go on the next one. What is 7 times 7? 7 times 7 is 49, so it's x squared minus 49. See, you're not actually going to multiply these out. You're going to use the formula or shortcut. What's the next one? 8 times 8. Times 8 is, x squared minus 64. Now, some of you probably don't know these. You may not have these memorized. And I certainly have a lot of things not memorized, but I do know that 11 times 11 is 121. So that's x squared minus 121. And then I'm going to have, 13 times 13. So it's going to be 169. And finally, 20 times 20 is 400. So that's going to be x squared minus 400. See, it's pretty easy. And of course, you got to know how to, square a number, multiply it by itself, but it's right in front of you. You got a calculator, it's real simple. Even if you forget what 13 times 13 is, you could just use your calculator and do that. I'm comfortable with that. Well, let's just move on to your homework. I don't have a short lesson today. So there's your homework. Just do those for me. Turn that in your Google Classroom. And this is good stuff. It's a shortcut. It's a formula. You want to, whenever there's a shortcut, you understand why the shortcut works. So remember here, because of this special pattern, the middle terms cancel it out. So that's the understanding. But then use the shortcut whenever you need it. Alrighty, well, that's it for me now. Till next time. See you later.